Welcome back. You're listening to the Block Runner Podcast. I'm your host, William, and I'm here with the co-host, Iman. And as always, here are the topics we'll be discussing today. We're going to talk about what is driving the massive spike in Bitcoin's price. Will Bitcoin really get banned in the United States? The Lightning Network becoming a money services business and how it really works. Next up, Binance getting hacked for 7,000 Bitcoins and how these hacks tend to occur. And finally, we pose a question off to you. How much is Bitcoin worth when fiat currency no longer exists? Let's jump right in. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a good point. I'll bring up the agenda too. That way we have kind of like an outlook of everything.
Let's see what's going on.
Come on, man.
I kind of want to show you like some chart. Have you ever been to tradingview.com?
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, go there. So we can look at like some good charts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, tradingview.com.
Yeah, that way we can get like a really good perspective. Maybe even like test out our amateur technical analysis abilities.
Oh, no, for sure. For sure. Right? Let's look at BTC.
You know what's cool? Yes. No, let's check out some ideas like from the community. I like looking at this shit. Just scroll down. These are like people who are putting. Oh,
look at that. Sell.
Yeah, right. But
where's the price though?
That's not the right thing. That's BTC Health Limited. What the f is that?
Come on.
BTC USD, Bitcoin USD. Yeah. Oh my God, what's happening? Just type in BTC, dude.
Bitcoin dollar.
Okay.
71.49.
Look at that bowl, dude.
That's quite a bowl, and it's at the tip though.
Is it though? Hold on. Pull. Okay, first let's look at some of these ideas. Scroll down. You see them, right?
Wait, what?
It's a strong buy.
Get the fuck out of here. That's not a strong buy.
It is because like on a technical scale, like 6,000 was that huge barrier, right? What we talked about last time. Like, whenever I thought of what happened last week, it was like hovering around like 5,400 or something like that.
Yeah. I was kind of praying that it was going to go to 4,000.
That's what you thought, because 4,000 would have been like a healthy correction, right? And
correct.
It would have like primed us for like a nice breakthrough, it just broke out.
Yeah, it just broke out without anything.
But like what I was saying is, because remember we were stuck at 6,000 for months. Like we couldn't break below 6,000. Like it tested that level. Yeah. Maybe 5 or 6 times as a support level.
Well, you're talking about 2018, right?
Was it 20? No. Was that 2018?
Yeah.
On the way down.
Yeah. 2018.
When it broke down from 6K to 3K.
Yeah. That's 2018.
But yeah, it bounced around for like 2 to 3 months, testing that support level.
Yep.
For months. So my thinking was, if there was that much support at 6,000, that means there must be that much more resistance at 6,000.
Yeah, correct.
But that wasn't the case.
It broke through that. And look at that. It's still climbing, dude.
It broke through with no issue whatsoever. Not even like a little tick down. It just went straight up.
What do you think is causing all this?
Is there a way you can see pull up the full featured chart so we can see the volume? You see the tab that says full featured chart on the right there?
Yeah, here we go.
You can actually look at the volume this way. Scroll out a little bit so we can see like a bigger picture. There we go. Look, dude, the volume is not that high.
True.
You see the green candles at the bottom?
Yeah, that's a good point.
There's a ton more volume.
So what is this? Is this 2017 here?
That's
what is
the
that?
Bubble right there. Yeah, that's 2017. That's 20K.
Damn.
You see all that volume?
Okay.
You see like on the bottom, right?
Yeah, I see that.
That's the volume. That's the green is buy, red is sell. You're looking right now. Remember what I said? Like in order for it to break through 6,000, it's going to need massive volume. Apparently, that's not true.
Yeah.
There's literally not that much volume, and it broke through like easily.
Oh, how is that possible?
That's a great question. I don't know, man.
So let me continue zooming in here. So there was a lot of volume here when it dropped to 3,200.
Yeah, of course. A lot of sell volume.
A lot of sell.
This is panic selling pretty much.
Either that or buy. I mean, shit.
Well, yeah, because it's a good zone to buy, right? When it hits 3,000, that's like a shit hits the fan scenario where it was.
Yeah, man. Imagine, look at this. The guy who bought at 3,200, I mean, doubled the price.
Doubled his money in a few months.
In a month.
Has it been a month?
Yeah.
Nah, it's been like 4 months.
No way,
months.
dude.
Bro, that's December 2018. We're at May. That's 5 months ago.
Oh, yeah, you're right. December 2018.
Yeah. So, but still, 100% return in less than a year is awesome.
Yeah.
So, but my point is, I don't know, man. I don't like scroll all the way out. Where's 10,000? That's where everyone's predicting we're heading. 10,000. See, there's not much like significant resistance there. See, like I said, 6,000. Like find 6,000.
Oh, that's 11,000, 10,000.
But you can't see the chart though.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to find the number.
Okay.
6,800.
You could draw lines and shit on here too. On the left side, see all the tools. The very first one's a line chart or a line.
Yeah.
So you could draw lines so you can really study.
Yeah, I just can't. I'm using a 4K screen and like everything's tiny.
Yeah, we're working a whole new system here. We have like a whole new setup. I'm sure anyone listening has figured out by now. Like we sound way better.
Yeah,
we have like a new mixer. We got a couple new mics. We got a whole new setup here. So
all right,
we're figuring it out.
There's a 6,000 line, and
you just drew it.
Yeah, I just drew it. The green line right there.
So that's the resistance that I was saying was going to be a bitch to break through. But look at that, easy mode.
And then let me draw another line at 10,000.
Because if you extend that line all the way back to 2018, or like look how many times it bounced off that support, 6,000.
Yeah, you're right.
It bounced off. Let's see. Let's count. 1, 2. Let's count that as 2 right there. 3, 4, 5, and then the 6th one was the failure.
And then it dropped. Yeah.
So everyone's thinking was 6,000 is going to be a huge barrier to break through, but it wasn't.
Yeah,
which is very odd.
And then for 10,000, we're
see, there's not much resistance there. Like, where's the next major resistance point? I think we might be at it, actually.
I don't know.
Yeah, because like even going back to 2017, there was a little bit of resistance there.
Okay, I got 10,000 in.
That's 10,000?
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Dude.
That looks bullish as doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
That chart?
Man, I'm telling you, man. I've been telling you. It's that
I think it's a little too rapid though. It doesn't look healthy.
No, absolutely not. I agree with that. We still got a long way to go before the halving occurs.
Exactly.
Actually, as a matter of fact, May 20th, 2020 is when the halving happens.
So a year from now.
Exactly 1 year. And this was predicted. It's been, I mean, people have been talking about this for at least 12 months.
Yeah. No, I understand that, but I'm just looking at this growth. It looks obviously nothing, like we've had nothing but bad news, honestly, like this last week.
True.
Like, let's list it. Binance got hacked.
Yep.
The Bitfinex tether scandal only got worse. People are starting to get arrested.
Yep.
You know, so any minute now, Bitfinex is probably going to go down. Everybody's exiting as quickly as they can. Their funds are being locked.
Yep.
You know, so people are panicking on that exchange.
Yep.
What else happened? Oh, there's people in Congress trying to shut down Bitcoin completely.
Yeah, the U.S. Senator discusses banning Bitcoin. Imagine that.
So that's, okay, like discusses it. So it's nothing crazy, but it's still, that's kind of fuddish. Like it would cause some people to panic, right?
And the reason why they're talking about it is because the U.S. dollar is what everybody compares their currency to. And so if there's a different currency that performs better than all fiat currency, of course they're going to be scared.
Well, his argument, the congressman who's proposing a ban, he's arguing that Bitcoin is a threat to the United States.
Absolutely.
Essentially, because what keeps us powerful, the global superpower, is the fact that our currency is like is number one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Correct. That's his argument. So he doesn't want Bitcoin to undermine that.
Yep.
Our strength as a economic powerhouse, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see, like, he'll probably make a good argument. He'll probably get a lot of politicians on his side, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, but the thing is, you may want to ban it, but if you ban it, your competitors, your countries, other countries are going to embrace it, and then you're going to be left behind.
Like China?
Yeah, I mean China, Russia
for sure,
easily. And if you get left behind with crypto, I mean it's not an easy recovery. Once Bitcoin goes to $1 trillion, how is a country going to recover if they're not embracing it?
But if they ban it outright, kind of like that'll be a way for them to
try to create FUD.
I don't know if it's so much FUD. It's just eliminate the possibility of like American businesses to adopt it.
Yeah, but there's so many American businesses like dominating, Coinbase being the number one.
But I'm talking about like Amazon, like retailers. They won't be able to use Bitcoin as
in the U.S. They won't. Maybe
if they ban it.
If they ban it in the U.S., they won't. But Amazon's all over the place.
I know, but you gotta admit, like that would be a huge hit, don't you think?
In my opinion, I think if the U.S. bans it, the price is going to go up.
Why? What do you base that on?
I don't know. I think because it confirms what the promise of Bitcoin was going to do.
Disrupt. Yeah, it's disruptive as hell. But like at the end of what we always said, it's if it wants to be that digital cash, we have to be able to use it. If governments start banning this thing left and right,
well, hold on.
Let's be real.
But Bitcoin is not. Its current iteration is not to be used.
Yeah,
like Bitcoin Cash is trying to be, or like Satoshi Nakamoto originally designed Bitcoin to be.
But don't you like eventually want that?
Well, for other cryptocurrencies, yes, but for the Bitcoin, it's going to be the world reserve currency. So it's not a thing that you and I are going to be trading.
But we use dollar bills on a daily basis.
Yeah, so there's going to be a different currency for that. There's going to be a US cryptocurrency and then a Russian cryptocurrency.
Based on what?
Bitcoin.
You think so?
Oh, absolutely.
What if they outlaw? Why would it be based on Bitcoin if they banned it? It wouldn't be based on Bitcoin.
Well, in the future,
it would be a digital dollar.
Think about it. If Bitcoin is a world reserve currency, it's worth $200 trillion. And so fiat currency is going to be irrelevant.
That's exactly why the United States is like, they're fearful of this.
That's what I'm saying.
Like I said, if all of a sudden Bitcoin is the global powerhouse of exchange, the United States loses its advantage because...
Yeah, but they're going to lose their advantage anyways. That's the point of Bitcoin. That's that nobody has control over its currency, and that's why I'm saying the United States government, as inept as we think they are, they're not completely inept. I don't think they're gonna not embrace it because they know they have smart people in the government who are saying, you know what, there's really nothing we can do about Bitcoin. We can't really ban it. So if we embrace it and we start purchasing, 20% of Bitcoin, then they'll have some say. They'll remain the power that they can be in this decentralized currency world.
Yeah. So at some point in time in the future, we're expecting an event to occur like where Bitcoin is this unstoppable force.
Yes.
It could happen in the next bull rally. Like if we get to that 200, 300,000 point.
Dude, right now it's past 7,000. I'm not even worried it's going to get past 50,000.
Okay.
Like it's going to go way past that. And then there's going to be FOMO that like we've never seen before.
It could
And then after 50,000 it's going to go 200K.
That would be like the true gold rush.
I mean,
I don't think we've gotten to that point where like historically that gold rush, when did that go down? Like in the 1800s, maybe like late 1800s, early 1900s,
something like that.
Yeah. So I don't think we've gotten to that point where
no, absolutely not.
Literally everybody like all of a sudden agrees like this Bitcoin thing is the next gold.
Yeah.
We haven't got there. There's tons of skepticism right now. At some point in our history, everyone was like burning for this shit called gold. They all moved in a time where moving wasn't an easy thing. They probably died on the way over to California to go mine this shit, right?
Yeah.
But it was so valuable and like the FOMO was so real back in those days. It was worth the risk. So maybe at some point in our future, Bitcoin will get to that point. And I feel like something like that has to happen in order to drive the price that high,
Right.
Like everybody like we know has to want it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So I just Googled the market cap of gold and it's at 8 trillion. And the first article that I find, it says researcher, Bitcoin will easily surpass market cap of gold at 8 trillion. I couldn't agree more.
Bitcoin itself or the overall?
Bitcoin itself. And at 8 trillion right now,
valuation would that put it at?
Well, right now Bitcoin's worth 100 billion, a little bit over 100 billion. And so we're talking about, what is that? 80 times?
80x?
Yeah.
Which is, it's like 500,000, something like that.
Yeah.
$500,000, $600,000 Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there.
Man.
Easily surpassed market. Bro, these are just headlines, man.
No, yeah, they're headlines.
Like,
but
what is this? Who wrote this?
They're not wrong. They're not wrong.
Like, what the No, man, I remember like when I first got into Bitcoin, the thing that inspired me, like I started watching all these videos of people like $1 million Bitcoin, it's gonna happen type shit. Like,
yeah, I know it sounds crazy.
It sounds nuts.
It definitely does. But I don't, there is nothing that performs better for a world reserve currency than Bitcoin.
Yeah. Or
the concept of a cryptocurrency. It could be called something else, but right now it's Bitcoin.
So what are the major drawbacks then? Like if Bitcoin ultimately it will kill the dollar.
It will kill all fiat currency.
Yeah. So what are the major drawbacks as far as like our country, the United States? How would we suffer from that?
I don't know. I think
it would diminish our purchasing power for sure.
Yeah. I think
which is not good from our
I think what most people like about Bitcoin is that it's a level playing field.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's a level playing field for all countries, and even it puts the individual human on the same level as their country. And so the human can no longer feel like they're being screwed because we're playing by the same rules that we can go look at in code.
Yeah.
And so it's completely different when you're talking about fiat currency. Fiat, they literally print money out of thin air. And so let me ask you a question. Do you know where money comes from? Like fiat currency, where does it start?
Like where's it made? Printed?
Yeah.
Federal Reserve?
Federal Reserve.
Yeah.
The government has these bonds and they're sent to the Federal Reserve in exchange for the US currency. Mm-hmm. So, and the Federal Reserve is a completely privately owned company, right? When they make this trade, the dollars that are being traded for the bond is called the principal. And then here's where the problem begins. If only the principal is in circulation, the Federal Reserve expects that principal back plus interest. So where do they get that interest from? Well, they have to print new money. It's not necessarily a pyramid scheme, as some people call it, but it's this building that keeps leveling up without a proper foundation, essentially. And so once it gets to the point where you can't pay back just the basic interest on your loans, then that currency is valued nothing, which is, we've seen that already in Greece and Venezuela. The only alternative to something like this is a cryptocurrency that has a maximum amount of units. The only problem is all of us are used to this inflationary economic scheme. And so what kind of economy do you have once that inflation concept is no longer there? How do you operate a country when there's no new money in circulation? That's my question. And so what I'm thinking is that all the countries will create a currency that is inflationary, a cryptocurrency that is inflationary, just like EOS. EOS has an infinite amount of coins, right?
I think every year, there's like a 5 million.
5%. It
5%.
It goes up 5%. And I think Dan Larimer's talking about bringing it down to like 2 or 3%. Yeah. And so you can design a cryptocurrency in code, right? Obviously, every cryptocurrency is designed by code. And in this code, you can state the rules where every year you introduce 5% new crypto into the circulation. So the same rules would apply in cryptocurrency.
So the Federal Reserve, nobody knows how much they're printing, right? Like nobody knows the inflation rate. Is there a steady?
3%. 3% for the United States.
Okay, every year it's the same.
So it's 3%, and you can design a cryptocurrency that does the exact same thing. It's backed by Bitcoin.
So what's the problem with the Federal Reserve at the end of the day? Like the biggest problem?
Well, it's not the Federal Reserve that is the problem. It is the mechanism in which it operates in, which is a debt-based society, right? The more in debt you are, the more enslaved you are, right? The Federal Reserve is doing to the United States and every other country on the planet is they're indebting the country. It's a self-defeating scheme because eventually you'll have so much debt in which you can't pay the interest back.
Is there anybody figured out what that number is or how close we are to that?
I think there is. Because
I know, and you're talking about the country's debt or just
the country's debt right now. So $22 trillion. There's a number. Could be 25, could be 45, I don't know.
Yeah.
But there's a number in which at a certain debt, you cannot pay your GDP, your income doesn't pay the interest. And so at that point, the dollar is worth nothing, like literally nothing. So
it's worth nothing because you can't pay the Federal Reserve anymore, what we owe them. And so what happens to the Federal Reserve? What do? They just shut down?
No, what they're going to do is they're probably going to forgive some debt, and they're just going to keep this scheme going.
Didn't they already do that once?
I don't think so. I don't think they have. But that's what they're going to do.
Don't they keep raising the debt ceiling or something like that?
Yeah.
Is that the Federal Reserve?
Yeah, that's the Federal Reserve, yeah.
So they could just raise this arbitrary line. It's this is the maximum amount of debt we can have. This is the line you're talking about, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
The debt ceiling is once you approach that level, we can't no longer pay the interest.
But then you'll get into the same situation as Venezuela. It's going to take like $20,000 to get a gallon of milk. Okay. Like that. To that, it doesn't make sense.
So we truly are just like kicking the can down the road every time we do that. Like that's not a bad analogy. We're just kicking that bitch down.
That's exactly what's happening.
So eventually, at one point, the cans are gonna be piled up. We can't kick it no longer.
And not only that, I think even before we get tired of kicking that can, I think countries will get tired of like, you know what? I'm just going to use Bitcoin now, and they'll just adopt that, and that's that. And it's going to be a slow transition. It's not going to be an overnight thing.
No, of course not. Yeah.
But if you and I recognize this
to me sounds like the perfect. What I've been saying all along. This sounds like the perfect scenario to switch over.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like we're going to get to that point. We're going to realize, like you said, the dollar is going to be crushed because of this Federal Reserve system we created is, at the end of the day, like you said, it's a house of cards.
Yeah, house of cards. Yeah. Perfect.
It's gonna be like all tumbling down one day, and we're gonna realize like we're not gonna just pick ourselves back up and like start over, right? Yeah, we're gonna have to start over with something different.
Exactly.
Bitcoin.
Yep. Exactly right.
Already there.
Exactly right.
Sounds perfect.
And
sounds
imagine
like perfect timing.
50 years, 100 years, 200, however long it takes. There's going to be a point in time where only countries are the ones who own Bitcoin, not humans, right?
Because it's too expensive.
Well, but that's the thing. Right now, I mean, Bitcoin's at $7,000. That's nothing compared to what it will be in the future.
Of course, yeah.
Right? So right now is the only time where individuals will be able to hold Bitcoin. Later on, 20 years, however long it takes, it's going to be too expensive for any one human to have, and only countries will own it.
That's what I said like a few weeks ago. Like, so we get to that point, won't countries want to own the mining pools and stuff just to have control over the whole infrastructure of these cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin?
No, I don't think so. I think the value in Bitcoin is that it's decentralized. So having it more centralized in any one country, it's not really going to help Bitcoin. Like
we're saying, like right now, it's heavily centralized in China.
Yeah, but I mean,
that doesn't change the. Let's say like Bitmain, just all of a sudden the government just
shut them down.
No, that just like takes over, like pays Jihan Wu, whatever the fuck.
That doesn't really change anything.
He's gone, but just to secure their stake in the pool.
Yeah, but I don't think that's where the value is. That's what I'm saying.
I don't think so either, but I don't know.
Like controlling, 100% of the hashing power, like that's, well, I mean, you could do some nefarious things at that point, but you can't. I mean, from a practical standpoint, you can't own 100% of the hashing power. Mm-mm. And the value where countries are going to do, they're going to own as much Bitcoin as they possibly can. If they're not doing that right now, then they're definitely inept.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like they are because the market cap's only 100 billion.
Yeah.
There's definitely no governments in here.
If a country understood the implications of cryptocurrency, they would just buy out Bitcoin right now.
That's what I'm saying. Some kind of event has to happen. It's going to be interesting, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Next bull run, if these numbers we've been predicting are true, that has to be the start of it,
Yeah, I think so. I was going to look at, what was it? A point at which...
And that's another thing. What were you looking at? Point at which what? Dollar is...
Worthless.
Worthless?
Okay, the U.S. debt almost more than tripled during the period from 6 trillion to 22 trillion. The debt to GDP ratio is now more than 100%. That increases the chance that the United States will let the dollar's value slide, as it would be easier to repay its debt with cheaper money. Mm-hmm. Oh, I think I sent you this article before.
Hold on. Go back up. The economic event that could do this is exactly what I want to see. These two situations, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to read out loud. Okay, altogether. Or does it say 4? Or foreign countries own more than $6 trillion in U.S. debt. China, Japan, blah, blah, blah.
So it doesn't really give a number. It just talks about the situation.
If China and Japan dump their dollars, basically. Okay.
It talks about how to protect yourself and keep your assets liquid.
What does it say, gold? I know it says gold, Will. I know it don't say Bitcoin on there right now. Not yet, but it says gold.
Yeah, let me see it. It has to say Bitcoin on here.
It doesn't. Trust me.
Look, could Bitcoin replace the dollar as a new world currency? It has many benefits. It's not controlled by any country or central bank. It's created and managed and spent online. It can be used as brick or mortar stores and backed by something. Its supply is finite. That appeals to those who would rather have a currency that's backed by something concrete, such as gold. But there are big obstacles. It's volatile. It still says it has become the coin of choice for illegal activity.
I hate that excuse.
The U.S. dollar.
Yeah. I hate when people say that.
Yeah, me too. It's because they don't. Well,
it's just like an easy FUD attempt. Like, oh my God, you use Bitcoin to purchase drugs and finance terrorism. That means it works. Yeah. That means it's money. We do the same shit with dollars.
That's right.
It's perfect. That's if anything, that's a good use case.
Yeah, it is. So, I mean, obviously, I always think about Amazon. It used to be like 45 cents back in the day, the Amazon price.
45 cents?
Yeah.
And now it's like in the thousands.
Yeah. So it's important for us to realize if there's really going to be that wealth transfer, it's gonna be a wealth transfer to people who are knowledgeable about what's going on.
And that's important to say right now because all signs are pointing towards next bull market like starting now.
It started a month ago.
But it's like now it feels more concrete because, like I said, it broke through that 6,000 barrier like nothing.
Yeah.
Either this is like totally manipulated by Tether or Bitfinex, and they're about to exit scam on all of us, dump their bags on the whole market, and we're all about to get feel the ultimate ponage. Like it's just straight ass rape.
Yeah, but think about what that means. If they exit, what's the worst case scenario if they scam exit? To do an exit scam.
The worst case scenario? Yeah, nobody knows. I mean, Bitcoin will plummet for sure.
Yeah, to what price? Nobody
knows. Like, well, let's say the probe that's investigating them finds out that when did Tether come around? I don't know, but Tether was around pretty much for the majority of 2017. Mm-hmm. And this probe investigation finds out that they were behind the whole thing. The whole 2017 bull market, they're just inflating the price of it. Let's say by 50%.
See, but I don't think that discovery is even possible.
How do you know? Somebody could just crack. Somebody, let's say somebody in the company could just be like, "Oh, I did it! I did it, dude!" Like they fucking have a gun. They're waterboarding Bitfinex employees right now as we speak.
Well, what I'm saying is, if Tether never existed, maybe it wouldn't have gone up to 20,000. It would have gone up to 6,000 or 7,000. That would be an all-time high at 6,000 or 7,000 in 2017. That would be an all-time high, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so now that Tether did exist, it went up to $20,000.
Well, because it was a catalyst in a way.
Right. Okay. So follow me with this.
We've already established what drove Bitcoin from 5K to 20K was the media mania. It was the mainstream coming in and downloading Coinbase.
Yeah.
Just buying for no reason. They had no reason why they were buying this shit. They just bought it.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what drove the price up.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is maybe without Tether existing in this universe, it would have gone up to 6,000. And then it would have crashed just crash right now. It would have crashed to $600. Okay. Then there would be another bull market right now. It would be at $1,000 or $2,000, whatever it is.
Okay.
And so what I'm trying to say is the reason why it went up, or part of the reason, and let's say 50% of the reason it went up, is because of the Bitcoin halving event.
Yeah. Okay.
And we're seeing that again now. Obviously, it might be at inflated prices because of Tether, but nonetheless, there would be a bull run right now, regardless of Tether. That's what I'm saying.
Right now. Yeah. But like I said, if that headline comes out,
but then it crashes to $1,000.
These prices are artificial.
Yeah, but what do you do if Bitcoin's at $1,000 right now? What are you gonna do?
What would I do?
Yeah,
I'd probably start buying. Yeah,
hell yeah, I'd buy the shit out of Bitcoin.
But it wouldn't be like it would be like a Mt. Gox type event. It would take a few years for it to recover, I feel. I don't think this Tether thing is ever gonna happen. I'm just saying. I don't know. It just feels like there's too much enthusiasm. But what the f do I know? This is new territory for all of us.
Yeah, it's brand new for everybody.
Yeah, I like I said, I've lived through a pre-bubble, peak bubble, bottom bubble, but I haven't lived through what happens next. And to me, this feels kind of weird. It doesn't feel natural. But
I mean, if you go back to Roger Ver and Andreas Antonopoulos, they've been through all the bubbles already. They've seen this stuff before.
Yeah,
it's just at a different price, at all-time highs. I think we're gonna see this again. Mm. We're gonna blow past 20,000, and we're gonna be shocked, just like when we were shocked when we were seeing $20,000 Bitcoin in 2017.
Yeah,
and then it's gonna crash, and then it's gonna go down to 10,000, and everybody's gonna feel like shit, and then we're gonna go right back on the horse again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think at some point, around 75 to 8,000. That's my big guess. It's going to lose steam there. It's going to correct. It'll probably drop down to 6 again. Then 6,000 will be that support level. That's what I'm hoping what happens.
Yeah.
I hope that happens. Then I'll have confidence. This feels more natural, but we'll see.
Oh, I like how it has the different exchanges here. Look, Bittrex has it at $71.99.
Is Bitfinex even listed on there anymore? Nope.
Oh no, that's Bittrex. Yeah, Bitfinex is not on here.
Bitfinex is the first one.
Yeah,
Bitfinex.
71.67.
See, that's good. Bitcoin used to have a huge premium on Bitfinex, but not anymore.
Yeah. Oh man, look at that. Oh, this site's great. TradingView.
Oh yeah, dude, this is a professional site. This is a good site. Look at that.
I can't believe this is a strong buy right now.
Hold on, let's go back out. Click on that first one. How many? This one has 21,000 views. Let's see what he thinks. What the f is that? It looks like giant titties on the screen. This is what technical analysis looks like. I wish they could see this.
A possible result from current Bitcoin manipulation.
See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Manipulation. Let's see what he says. See, okay, this chart he's drawing out, he's speculating in the future that this is hold What does it say?
I believe manipulation is in full effect currently at these exchanges are trying to cover their butts to liquidate leveraged shorts that have been stacking. As a result, this will extend the length of our current bear market, cause a much faster and harder drop, and possibly take us to lows lower than previously expected by even the most bearish of bears. Sleep tight.
Now scroll up. I want to see the chart. Results of manipulation. See, this is kind of how I feel too, because the volume is really low. It doesn't feel like there's any retail purchasing going on right now, because usually when volume is high, that's retail.
Yeah.
When volume is low like this, in the history, it's shown as like exchanges manipulating the market. Like BitMEX is the biggest culprit of that, because they have the most users using leverage to trade. You know what I mean? They're shorting the market. They're buying. They're going long. They're going short, and they're doing this on leverage. So these exchanges benefit greatly by manipulating the price. Like say like 80% of the people are trying to short Bitcoin right now.
Yeah.
So if you're an exchange that has that much power and like that much money to manipulate the price, you want the price of Bitcoin to go up so you can liquidate all these accounts and just yuck their money from them.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense.
You know?
Yeah. So he's saying right now, this price, it says 63.56, and that it's going to go potentially make
He's already totally wrong, because we're at 7,400 now.
Yeah.
So I think this dude actually.
Well, I mean, it could be 74, 63.
It doesn't really matter how high they get it.
Yeah, and then he's saying it could drop to either 26.79 or 19.61.
But again, those levels are arbitrary too. That's
that's relative. It's like relative.
Yeah. But his biggest case is just he thinks that this price increase that we've been experiencing, like from 5K to 7K, is artificial.
Yeah.
Probably exchanges. Yeah, it's just short squeeze. That's what they call it.
Mm-hmm.
They're just squeezing out all the shorts of the market, by manipulating the price. And I mean, $100 billion market, or 150 billion, whatever we're at right now, it's not hard to do.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They could do it.
150, it's not a whole lot.
Yeah, like unregulated market, it wouldn't be, I would not be surprised to figure out like these exchanges colluded. They figured out a way how to just completely like fuck over everybody who's shorting the market and just going to take everyone's money. Yeah. I would not be surprised.
Damn. Market cap, Bitcoin, 127 billion.
Where the hell is Ripple? There it is. Ripple.
Yeah, I didn't expect it to just completely rise like this.
Nobody did, I don't think. I didn't hear one prediction
well, besides my bullish claims,
like completely unfounded prediction. No, it's just, I don't know, man. I want to be optimistic and just say, like what you're saying. This is just the natural cadence of Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. Even though it doesn't feel natural, if you look at the volume. Well, didn't you say like the volume's at all time high or something?
Yeah, it was at all time high when it went to 6,300.
Huh.
It was in the range of the all time high when it was $20,000. It was like $17 billion in 24 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know who's buying all this Bitcoin. That's the thing.
Countries.
There's no mania. There's no media attention on this. Not much.
Yeah,
just a little bit. There's like some Wall Street Journal headlines and shit like that. But that's
I think institutions are starting to jump in, man.
Maybe
it could be outside the country too.
Yeah, they're like subtly just trying to get in. Maybe this could just be institutions hopping in, driving the price up.
Shit, like I think it was a month ago, someone bought $100 million worth of Bitcoin. That's nothing compared to what these institutions can do.
Wasn't that what like catapulted the price in the beginning?
Yeah, it went
from 4,200 to 5,000 overnight.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Damn,
now we're at 7,000, dude.
I know. And like I said, this feels unnatural, but like during the bull market of 2017, this is nothing. Nothing. Like prices like this happened in a day. Yeah. Like price jumps. Like it took 5 months for it to get from 3K to 7K.
Yeah, yeah.
It did that in like a weekend in 2017. Legit. Like, so this isn't some ridiculous bull market, like peak of bull market. Like this could just be the beginning of it.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that.
So, okay, so I think we established.
Yeah,
we like Bitcoin. Bitcoin's on the mega heater right now. Like if you're paying attention to the market now, it's interesting because historically what happens in times like this, Bitcoin goes on a mega heater run. Eventually, it'll run out of steam. But what happens is by Bitcoin's price increasing like this is bringing buyers into the market, right?
Yep.
So. Usually people, they don't just take profits and exit out to fiat. What they do is start investing into altcoins after that point.
Right.
So right now is a good time to start thinking about what altcoins to purchase, because if you pay attention to the altcoin market cap, since the last 2 or 3 weeks, the Bitcoin's been on a tear. Altcoins have been just going nothing but down.
Yeah.
So this is a good opportunity. This is a fire sale for altcoins. Like if you're about to jump into the market, I'd say hop into altcoins because that's.
Oh yeah, because they're on the reds.
Yeah,
you don't want to buy anything in green.
Yeah, like Bitcoin's like any minute now, this shit's gonna reverse, and eventually altcoins are gonna have their time to shine too. That's all I got to say about that.
Dude, this is a great chart. I like this.
What, TradingView?
Yeah. I mean, I've seen it before. I just never spent a lot of time on this.
Oh no, it's perfect. You can draw your meme lines. You can do everything you want.
Yeah, your meme lines.
It's great, and I like seeing people's attempts at playing.
Playing God.
Yeah, like they know exactly what's gonna happen based on their meme lines.
Yeah,
it's nice to look at. Majority of the time they're wrong as hell.
So this is a bull, right?
What?
This whole thing is a bull.
A bull?
Yeah.
It looks like it to me, don't it?
Yeah. I mean, except this is like it's gonna create a handle or some shit like that.
A cup and handle for it. Well, if it did, it would have done that at 6,000. It would have failed.
Yeah.
And it would have retraced probably down to 4,000. Cup and handle is usually the handle is not supposed to be more than 50%.
Right.
But it didn't do that. Is what I'm saying. It went straight up past it. So
look at what happened right here. Look at this jump from these 2 points.
Well, that's the guy you were talking about. That's the 4,200 to 5K.
Is that what that is?
Yeah. That's the $100 million purchase.
What's that price right there?
4,200.
4,200.
Yeah.
And then it went up to
overnight to 5,200.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
That's who triggered this whole.
Damn.
Yeah. There's a lot of volume, and there's a lot more purchasing volume than selling right now.
Shit, what does that tell you?
Just more people buying than selling. that means the price is going to go up.
That means we should be buying.
Nah, it's too. Dude, we missed the boat. We missed the boat again.
It's because of that document from the accumulation document.
Yeah. Well, what the accumulation was talking about, go to the left, that whole bottom trough right there, that was accumulation right here.
Mm-hmm.
That whole phase, that was like a 3-month phase of just accumulation.
Yeah,
from the 3,000 to 4,000 range.
November 2018 all the way to December 2018.
Nah, dude, all the way to April. All that is accumulation there.
Yeah, true. Good
See
point.
that? And then it just popped. We're not accumulating anymore now. Now there's legit FOMO entering the market.
Yeah.
Accumulation's time is over.
That's
if you're going to accumulate, wait for a nice correction.
Yeah. Well, there's still, at this price, if you go in, you're probably going to lose some money, but it's on its way up, dude.
I know, but you never want to buy at the peak of a bull trend. Yeah.
Yeah, because look at what happens over here. Before the 2017 craze, it went up to an all-time high, and then it crashed. And then it went up again, went past it, and then it crashed.
See, but those aren't crashes, though. Look at them. Those are natural corrections.
Well, yeah. That's what
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A crash is, look at, those are nice corrections. It takes a while for that 30% drop in price to happen.
Yeah.
I think that's what's going to happen here. We're going to hit that peak around 78,000, and we're going to spend a couple months correcting in Bitcoin. And during that time, altcoins should thrive.
So this green bar versus this red bar, green means buy, red means they were selling?
Yeah. And you know who that green bar is? That's Mike Novogratz. That was the Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Civil War fiasco right there.
Interesting.
The fact that I recognize that, it's crazy. That's what I like about it. You look at these lines, they look like just lines, right? But no, they're historical events. You could piece together you can put little thumbnails on them. This is what happened here. This is what happened here.
Yeah, it's funny. Every time the price dips, there's a green bar sitting right there.
Yeah, there's always someone waiting, right, for that opportunity.
Yep.
If you're smart, you're waiting for these opportunities. Like I said, if you're smart, if you're dumb, you're buying right now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call you dumb, but you're just you're not very patient.
You're not paying attention.
Yeah, you wait for that 30-40% drop in price. That's your discount. And then if you catch it at the right time, wow. See, that looks weird when you zoom it out like that. I don't know, man.
That 2014, what was that? Bitcoin halving.
2014?
Yep.
Yeah, but nothing happened.
What are you talking about? What is that? That's an all-time high right there. Yeah.
That's true. Wait, let me see. 2014. No, dude, that's not 2014. That's 2013.
2013.
That's Mt. Gox.
Yeah, 2013 is when it halved.
No, 2014.
Yeah. No, it started.
2012 is when it halved.
No.
Yes.
No, 2000. It started 2009. 4 years after that is 2013.
So then in 2017 it would have halved. Did it? It was in 2016, I thought.
No, it wasn't 2016.
Right? It halved in 2016. It's going to halve in 2020.
Yeah.
Right? So
I'm getting my timer wrong.
So then in 2012 it halved.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, 2012.
Yeah. And you watched that documentary, right?
Yes.
It said, like, even they didn't understand what drove the price up from $200 to $1,300.
Yeah.
They were like, what the fuck caused this? But the point is, it could have easily been manipulation too.
Yeah.
Because Mt. Gox is the only exchange. They manipulated the price and then they ran off with the funds.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone's Bitcoin just disappeared at the peak of that little mini bubble.
And then you're saying that people are getting their Bitcoins back, right?
Yeah, they're starting to get their Bitcoins back. But because, like I said, they went missing from Mt. Gox exchange in 2013.
Yep.
Just randomly. They just vanished, which made no sense. So everyone, I think that guy, I forgot his name, but the owner of that Bitcoin exchange, Mt. Gox.
Yeah.
He just tried to pull off an exit scam, a bank run. But at some point in the future, he figured out he couldn't get away with it. So all of a sudden, magically, all the Bitcoin were found 2 years in the future.
Right.
And now I guess there's a lot of litigation or, shit going down in Japan and people are getting their Bitcoins back.
Right.
And there was a lot of speculation, like what stopped the bull run in 2017 or 2018, whatever, where people, the Mt. Gox trustees or whatever, who owned all the Bitcoin, they were like liquidating Bitcoin. Yeah. So that's what drove the prices down. And they still have a ton of Bitcoins to liquidate,
Shit.
I think
they had 800,000, right?
It's a lot of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
It's a ton of Bitcoin. That's almost as much as Satoshi.
Yeah.
That's like if Satoshi just decided to just sell. Yeah. He would just ruin the whole market. Yeah. So I think Mt. Gox trustee or whatever, he agreed or they agreed to liquidate in small portions, not like all at once. If they just liquidate everything at once, it would tank the price.
Yeah. Which is smart. I mean, you don't want to. I mean, there's not enough liquidation for all that.
Not enough money in the market? No.
Yeah.
No, there isn't. Like I said, they could tank the market by themselves. That's the problem. There's so much risk in this market because the market cap's is so low. Right. It's so easy to manipulate, man.
You know what would have shocked me though? If the U.S. Senator, instead of talking about banning Bitcoin, it would have shocked me if he said, let's embrace Bitcoin or let's encourage this.
There are people who say that too. And they just don't get headlines.
Oh, really?
I saw that the other day.
Really?
There's a senator or congressperson saying that exact shit we just said. Like, it's time to embrace cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin.
Yeah, I heard that.
They don't get headlines though, because that's not cool.
And I know Andreas Antonopoulos, he had like a 2 or 3 hour conversation with the Canadian Congress, and I listened to the whole thing. It was awesome. Yeah, it was. Yeah. I wouldn't have guessed that I would have liked something like that, but I guess Andreas Antonopoulos makes everything interesting.
It was just like too dry.
Yeah,
like politics.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, he's just presenting his case, right?
Yeah, yeah. And the fact
that Canada's like, they're non-contentious people. Like, they don't care. Yeah, they're just like happy people just fucking around.
Yeah, they were genuinely interested. Like, what is this cryptocurrency? Like, why is everyone into it?
Yeah. Well, a country like Canada, like I said, what the hell does Canada use? Do they have their own currency?
Yeah, they have the Canadian
dollar. Yeah, that sucks. Okay, well.
Oh, and then,
but yeah. Anyways, like I said, what I was saying like way earlier, there has been a lot of bad news this week.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about the banning of Bitcoin, Binance getting hacked, and finally, Lightning Network as a money services business.
Well, is this another politician, right, who brought this up? Yeah. Or no, this is like actual.
It's an actual bill. Yeah. Yeah. So, in this money services business, you have to have all these licenses, and so you can't just run a Lightning node.
So first of all, can you explain to me what a Lightning node is?
I cannot. Can you? No.
God damn it. We should have looked this up before we got online. Because it's kind of important to understand.
Well, let's look it up right now. And Lightning.
Okay, well, from what I understand, the Lightning Network is Bitcoin's attempt to scale, right? And without even knowing what it is, I'm assuming it's some type of side payment channel that's separate from the main chain. Like, I'm assuming it's some type of...
Yeah, check this out. Okay. Throughout the existence of Bitcoin, has only been capable of around 7 transactions per second,
which is garbage.
Yeah, that's terrible.
That's straight doo-doo.
While that was enough at the very beginning, the system is congested for a few years now. To understand the magnitude of the situation, simply compare Bitcoin's minuscule to Visa's 24,000 transactions at peak 50,000.
Damn, not doo-doo at all.
So, yeah, but that's...
I know, centralized garbage.
Yeah, come on.
But still, not doo-doo numbers. So we want to get to that point, or better.
Yeah.
So how do we do it?
So Lightning Network. Looks like basically there were a lot of people involved in sending simple short messages. So how does it work? Enter... no, that's not it. That's not it.
You're letting me down, Will.
Yeah.
I thought you had this knowledge already ingrained.
Yeah, I've only been working on the website and editing these podcasts.
A little hard to stay on top of the. Let's see.
So this isn't. They're giving me a story. I want like a technical breakdown.
You can watch that video. Lightning Network explained simply, but they can't hear it though. What are we gonna do for 5 minutes while we listen to this? Like make like fart noises.
2 hours later.
We just got back from
a study session.
A study session on Lightning Network. So it turns out that
I'm like way more confused now after the fact than I was before.
Yeah, so
we're gonna try and untangle all that.
Okay, the Lightning Network is designed to reduce congestion on the Bitcoin blockchain.
Yes. So
right now, let's say Bitcoin blockchain does about 7 transactions per second compared to Visa's 25 to 50,000 transactions per second. So Bitcoin is pretty crappy.
Mm-hmm.
So the community decided to develop a way to reduce the congestion on Bitcoin to handle, thousands of transactions per second without necessarily affecting the congestion in Bitcoin. So what they came up with is a way to, they called this concept called payment channels. So a payment channel can exist between a person like Bob and a merchant like a coffee shop.
But understand this is off chain.
This is completely off chain.
This is the most important part to establish because the reason why Bitcoin's so slow because everything's on the main chain. All these transactions are going through
into a block, and then that block needs to be added to the chain, and then all that takes time. Uh-huh. And so this Lightning Network concept is off the chain. But it still uses cryptography in the form of signing a transaction.
Okay.
Right. So that's cryptography. It's public and private networks. I mean, public and private keys, not networks.
Yes.
Okay. So in this Lightning Network, you decide to buy coffee for $5, and what happens is you have to deposit a certain amount of Bitcoins into this Lightning account. And once you make that deposit, then you can spend that deposit at anybody that accepts Lightning, transactions.
Okay.
And so what that means is you're essentially opening up a payment channel between you and this coffee shop.
Okay, but when you're depositing money into your own account, your own Lightning account, you need to open several channels. Like say you go to Starbucks and then you go to Best Buy right after.
No. So these this quote unquote opening a channel is not a thing that you do. It's more of a thing that happens when you do a transaction. You don't have to open a payment channel.
Yeah, like I'm trying to visualize it like I always do. Do I like walk up to the counter with my coffee and then I got like sign a fucking
no, you just
touch screen like no, I agree.
You have an app, Lightning Network app.
Okay.
And then they show you their QR code. Mm-hmm. You scan that QR code and then it says, hey, your coffee's $5.
So essentially it's like a Bitcoin transaction, but with Lightning label. This is a separate blockchain, right?
Yeah. It's it's off the chain transaction.
Okay.
So it eventually ends up in the chain. I'll explain why. So you buy your coffee for $5. You scan the QR code, you hit the send button, and you just essentially sent $5 worth of Bitcoin to the coffee shop. Mm-hmm. And what's happening is
you said eventually.
Well, what's happening is there's a new ledger being created.
Yes.
And that new ledger is being signed by you and that merchant.
Okay.
And what this ledger says is that Iman just gave me $5 for his coffee. Mm-hmm. And then you sign it and they sign it. And therefore it's...
But in order for the sign to go through, it has to like check your account first or make sure you have the funds.
Well, of course. The only way you can spend the $5 is if you have the $5.
Okay.
Right. And the only way the coffee shop will give you your coffee is if
don't they have to make like an inquiry to the main chain to find out how much Bitcoin you actually have? Well,
that's why you deposited in the beginning
into a separate Lightning channel. Okay, the channel. Now I understand what the channel is. Yeah. Okay.
So now this ledger has 2 signatures. And then you decide to come back, buy more coffee, a little, something else from the coffee shop, whatever it is. and there's another entry into this ledger, and then there's another signature from you and the coffee shop. And so there's this new ledger that gets created between you and that coffee shop called a payment channel. And so now it's time to actually get those Bitcoins into your original Bitcoin wallet. So what happens is,
not me, the merchant.
Well, the merchant or you could decide to close the payment channel, and I mean, it doesn't matter who it is, because both of you have copies of your own ledger, right? They exist within that application that we're talking about.
Okay.
So you close that payment channel, and let's say throughout this year or throughout the day that you spend $500 at this coffee shop.
Okay.
And now the payment channel is closed. That means $500 gets deducted from the Lightning Network app account that you have, and then $500 are sent to the merchant's Bitcoin account.
Yes, and you said, you just use you as an example, right?
Yeah.
See, this is my contention. Like, how would you trust anybody to maintain that for a year? That promise that I'm going to pay this merchant or my Bitcoin, my Lightning Network wallet address will have. Am I too loud? my Bitcoin Lightning Network address will have the funds at the end of the year. Is there a way it's locked? Like the funds are locked?
Well, yeah. The only way you can spend the money is if you have the money. That's the point of cryptocurrency. So you've deposited that money into the Lightning account.
You can't withdraw.
You can't withdraw, but you can only withdraw up to the max that you've signed for. So, for example, you have $1,000 in your Lightning account.
Yes.
And you spent $500, and you've signed signatures for spending $500. Then you only have $500. You don't have $1,000. Mm-hmm. Because of that signature.
I think I see. Okay.
Right. And so now,
the signature locks your funds.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's the whole point.
This is all cryptography. That's kind of the purpose of this application of cryptography.
Yeah,
is that once you've signed $500 away from your account, when you have $1,000, that means you only have $500 in your account.
So every time you're going to a store and you're purchasing with the Bitcoin Lightning Network, you're not telling the vendor or the merchant that you're gonna extract $5 from your bank account today,
right,
to deposit it into your Starbucks account,
right?
At the time of the transaction. What you're doing is you're signing a signature or an agreement that you're locking $5 of my Bitcoin Lightning Network funds.
That's right.
At any point you decide to take it, it's yours.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a promise.
Exactly.
And then whenever you decide to do it, that's whenever it gets blocked or locked into the Bitcoin network.
So imagine now take the perspective from the merchant. They're saying they get 1,000 people per day walking into their stores buying all kinds of stuff using the Lightning Network. At the end of the day, they can decide to close all payment channels and get paid at the end of the day.
Yeah, but wouldn't that congest the network though?
So how does this reduce congestion on the Bitcoin network?
Yeah, that's the biggest thing.
So, let's walk through the same scenario where you're getting your coffee.
Yeah.
So you've done 100 transactions at this coffee place in one day, for example. So instead of using Bitcoin's blockchain to do every single individual 100 transactions, which will congest the network, what the Lightning Network does is it submits only 2 transactions, even though you've done 100 with the coffee shop. And those 2 transactions is, these get broadcasted to the blockchain, and it has 2 entries, beginning and an ending. So there are 2 transactions. And so it reduced the network by 100 transactions, because instead of doing 100, you're doing 2, or by 98 transactions. So that's how it reduces the congestion within Bitcoin. And so now look at the merchant's perspective. They have 1,000 customers, and each 1,000 probably spent, they went and did 100 transactions each. That's 10,000 transactions, right? And so instead of using the Bitcoin blockchain, which is 10,000 transactions, and we know that they do 7 transactions per second, it would take a long time before it actually gets verified on the Bitcoin blockchain. So instead, they take those 1,000 people and they submit their off-chain ledgers to the Bitcoin blockchain, and it gets logged onto the Bitcoin blockchain without entering those 10,000 transactions all at once, or in consecutive order.
So does this diminish the validation process at all? Like, the whole purpose of Bitcoin is that the miners are validating these blah, blah, blahs in real time, right?
Well, They're still validating because of those signatures. So,
but that comes later on, right? Down the line.
Yeah, but they're still validating anyways.
Like whenever I guess, so you said there's separate nodes for this Lightning Network, right?
Yeah.
I'm assuming these nodes are validating the Lightning Network transactions.
Yes.
On like a surface value.
Yes.
I guess what they're validating is whether or not your Lightning Network account has the funds.
Yes.
They're not necessarily validating the transaction. That comes later.
Yeah.
That's what the Bitcoin mining network does down the line.
Well,
they kind of like log everything for you. Like, is that what
validating means for the Bitcoin blockchain? Validating means that you actually own the Bitcoins that you just spent.
Okay, and Bitcoin. But
Bitcoin.
You could do that in Lightning Network. You don't need to.
So in the Lightning
talk
Network,
to the main.
Yeah, you don't have to do that because you have to deposit money into the Lightning Network.
Yeah.
So there's still validation happening on the chain and off the chain.
What's going on the main chain?
On the main chain, they're validating the signatures that are being submitted by you or the merchant.
But the signature is just like a stamp. Like it's final.
Well, yeah. So
right?
it's like a stamp in human terms, but in mathematical terms, it's as final gets because it's cryptography.
It's logged.
Yeah,
like forever. It's never going anywhere ever again.
There's no way
public.
You
can. It's there for the world to see.
Yeah, you can't compromise it.
And it's on the main chain.
And it's on the main chain.
Yeah.
So that's what they're validating is, did iMan and did this coffee shop actually sign for these transactions? And once they verify that, then they disperse the funds.
So it's up for these Lightning Network nodes or network, the Lightning Network itself they're like the front lines of the Bitcoin network in a way.
Yeah.
Again, visualizing.
Yeah.
The front line, the Lightning Network is working to, I wonder how it works. The Lightning Network.
Well, it's the Lightning Network operates on its own essentially until people submit those ledgers to the blockchain.
Yeah.
And that submission is the link between the Lightning Network and the Bitcoin blockchain.
I feel like we're missing a piece for some reason. Like, well, why is the Lightning Network so capable of...
Because it doesn't have to wait. It's not a consistent block.
That's what the channels are for, because it's segmented per user.
Yeah. And you don't have to log every single transaction that occurs in the planet on a block.
That's the thing. You don't have to validate everything.
Yeah.
Like that's what Bitcoin miners do, right? They have to
validate every single transaction that occurs because all those transactions have to exist in the block.
Yeah.
And so instead of doing transactions in the block, they're submitting an entire ledger, a ledger that has 1,000 transactions all at one time. One entry.
What would that look like? Like, because how many can you put in a block?
So
10? Or
let's say, okay, this is what it looks like. It looks like it's a hash.
Yes. Well, it's 10 per block, right? How many per block?
Well,
it can be as many as.
It's 1 megabyte size.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right. So it's
so like 1,000 Lightning Network transactions. Nobody knows how many megabytes.
Yeah, because let's say you're the merchant and I'm buying, coffee, right?
Yeah.
So I do 1,000 transactions with you, and there's this ledger that exists between me and you.
Yes.
It's just, and I start with $100, I give you $2. Start with 98, I give you another $2, and it keeps going, right?
Yes.
So what they turn this into, you're not submitting this into the ledger. What you're submitting is a hash of this. So what is a hash? It takes this ledger and it spits out an alphanumeric string of letters and numbers, right? And then this string represents this entire hash. So this entire ledger, I mean.
Yeah.
And so this hash is the thing that gets stored on the Bitcoin blockchain. And the Bitcoin blockchain turns that hash into a link and says this link, it represents this entire ledger.
How do you look at that ledger?
Oh, a block explorer.
Ah, see.
And I'm assuming that you can do that on the Lightning Network too. Or a Lightning Network ledger or block explorer.
Yeah, block explorer. So like let's say you.
So in other words, what a hash does, it minimizes the amount of data that exists in a block. Even though that
it's
hash
just like a URL.
Yeah.
It's like a link.
Yeah.
To the real meat.
Even though you've done a zillion transactions.
Who's storing all that?
The miners.
They're storing the actual transaction data?
They're storing the entire chains of the entire blockchain of Bitcoin. It's over like 300 gigabytes right now.
Okay. Huh.
And they're going to store it until forever. right?
And how do you pull up like a block explorer? I've never seen one.
You've seen one. You just don't know.
Like, say I'm the government and I'm investigating some guy who's on trial.
Yeah.
You know, let's say he bought a bunch of drugs over the internet or something. How do I find out how, his payment history? You know what I mean? Well, you could do that through a bank, right? You could just find his bank.
You take their public address.
Okay.
If I need to send you a Bitcoin, you need to send me your public address.
Yes.
I can take that public address and Google it, and I can know exactly how much Bitcoin you own.
Not Google it, right?
You can Google it.
Google it?
Google it.
Okay. What are we looking at right now?
So we're waiting for this block explorer to show us all the transactions.
I think I get it a lot. I understand it a lot better now, how Lightning Network works. So how scalable is this?
I don't know how scalable, but it's supposed to be a lot. You can do a lot more transactions per second.
Well, yeah, because
you're not even using blockchain for this.
So what's there has to be a drawback to this.
I don't think there is.
There has to be.
I don't think there is.
There has to.
This is all cryptography.
The drawback is I'm assuming a Lightning Network is centralized because it's between you and a merchant.
No.
So you could easily access that data, couldn't you? Like the channels?
No, it's not centralized. You and I can run a node, and we can be verifying the transactions. So in this application, all you're doing is you're updating a ledger between you and a merchant, and then you have your own another ledger between you and me, and just because we tip each other or whatever, and you can have all these multiple ledgers with different people.
Okay.
And so Bitcoin only cares whenever you submit these ledgers for the blockchain.
Okay.
And that's it. I mean, I can have 1,000 transactions being submitted to the blockchain and only 2 entries show up, the beginning and the end.
Yeah. Fuck. God, I'm trying so hard for this. God damn it. I'm trying so hard.
So I don't know why this Block Explorer is not working, but
I get the gist though. I mean, I pretty much, yeah. So, okay, then now we're back to why we even started talking about this in the first place. What is this new bill?
So the Lightning Network, this bill means that if you run a Lightning node.
A Lightning node?
Yes.
Which is what?
Which is...
like a validator or a merchant?
It's a validator of the signatures that happen on these ledgers.
It's like a miner, right?
Not necessarily a miner. A miner has to find a code that links the last block with the new block.
So who owns these nodes? Anybody?
It could be anybody. But in this bill, you have to be a money services business, and therefore you have to have these licenses.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's no longer an application that you download and you run on your computer. It's
now you got some red tape to go through.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is expected.
Yeah, I mean that's why I said yeah. This is expected.
It's like a moot point, right?
Yeah,
because what do the nodes benefit? They're getting transaction fees.
Oh yeah,
right?
they're getting transaction fees. But we're talking about dust here. We're not talking about like 1% or 2% or anything like that.
Yeah, but if you have could you theoretically have like a warehouse of Lightning Network nodes and make a shit ton of money?
Yeah, you could. As a matter of fact, I read an article where this family was running a Lightning Network node, and that's how they were paying their bills in Venezuela.
Really?
Yeah.
What? That's what I'm wondering. What it takes to run a node? It's interesting. Is it computer power?
Yeah. I'm assuming it's a server that runs
storage. It's just fuck.
Yeah, we'll look into it. Yeah. I mean, it's still early. I mean, we saw this video that was made in 2017, so it's about a year old.
Well, but it's not like Bitcoin. It's not like you're not getting rewarded with Bitcoin, or but it's a steady.
In that ledger, I'm sure there's really 3 entries, right? There's the transaction between you and the coffee shop, and then there's that fee.
Yeah,
that fee that goes to the node.
Yeah, but it's not like you know how mining works, right? You increase your likelihood of winning the reward.
No, it's not like that.
By increasing your miners pool.
No.
This is just you're just
facilitating transactions, which is literally what a money services business does.
What's an example of that in the real world?
PayPal. I mean, all banks, money services.
They're just servers, essentially.
Yeah.
You're hosting servers for this network.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds kind of boring.
Yeah, but that's a thing that you kind of get, you run it. And
it's a nice little side business, dude. Yeah. Side hustle. Yeah. When people figure this out, they might just want to do this.
And maybe...
passive income.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you said, not a lot of people know about this yet. And the network's not like huge.
Right.
Imagine when it's huge.
Right.
Will that fee grow?
Well, more users, more fees, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like you're just running one node, but like the more people who are transacting, you're facilitating more transactions, so you're getting more fees.
More fees, yeah.
Collecting more fees.
Yeah.
Sweet. That's not a bad gig.
Yeah. So we'll look into it some more and figure out how we can kind of dip our toes into this.
Or at least understand it a little bit better on my end. I'm still in phase 1.
So, yeah, I had seen that video before, and I just didn't remember all that stuff, but now it makes sense.
What video?
The one that we just watched? Yeah, Lightning Network.
Yeah, I saw it too, but I don't know why. Like Lightning Network never appealed to me. Like this is a big deal.
Yeah, it is a very big deal.
Because you
take a highly congested network and then you uncongest it. I mean, that's saying a lot, actually.
Yeah. So this is Bitcoin's communal effort to scale.
Yeah.
And this is like I said, Bitcoin's not alone in this. Ethereum's doing their own off-chain scaling solutions as well.
I read that Ethereum, the proof of stake won't be ready until 2021 or 2022.
I thought you just said they were testing it right now. Proof of stake. I think proof of stake they could do. But there's other projects they call like Plasma,
I'm sure they're testing it,
sharding,
but I don't think they're gonna actually deploy it until like a year or two from now.
Probably not.
Like that's a big change to do that.
Oh yeah.
So I'm not surprised.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, these proof of work dinosaurs.
Yeah. Well, proof of work has its value,
but they have a lot of work to do. Like, they got to come up with these very clever solutions. You know.
Well, yeah. I mean, Bitcoin itself is pretty clever. The longer the chain, the more secure that chain is, because if you try to manipulate the data in that chain, the more the cost, the amount of money that you have to put in order to manipulate the chain would be astronomical. And therefore, the longer the chain, the more secure the chain is. Mm-hmm. Like that's an incredible accomplishment from a mathematical, cryptographic standpoint, from a monetary standpoint. I mean, that's why I'm so bullish on Bitcoin. And I'm not even a Bitcoin maximalist.
I don't know, dude.
I'm not. I think there's a lot of other cryptocurrencies that have a lot of value. Yeah, but I think Bitcoin, as it is right now, can stand to be, a world reserve currency, right?
And Bitcoin has like the most obvious use case, the most obvious.
Well, I think it's obvious from the world reserve standpoint, but I don't think we're going to be using Bitcoin to do transactions at the store in the future, like way future.
What? So then what's the point of this Lightning Network?
Well, because remember, the countries are gonna adopt their own cryptocurrency, and they're gonna peg it to Bitcoin, and they're gonna have their own rules for their cryptocurrency, inflation rate at 3%, whatever it is, and that's how we're gonna operate with cryptocurrencies. But they're gonna be country-based cryptocurrencies, and they're all gonna be pegged to Bitcoin, and then countries are gonna own the vast majority of Bitcoin.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Okay, but countries, I feel like that defeats the. So you're saying Bitcoin is not gonna?
It's gonna be the world reserve currency. It's gonna be worth $200 trillion. Well, because we're in 2019, you and I have the ability to buy a $7,000 Bitcoin, and in the future, 20, 50 years from now, 100 years from now, it's going to be $500,000.
No, it'll be like in the millions.
Maybe a million.
It'll be like stable as fuck. There won't be much volatility.
Well, yeah, but if today was $1 million Bitcoin, could you and I afford something like that?
But you don't need to buy $1 million.
No, you don't. But how likely is it that Bitcoin is going to go from 1 million to 2 million, so you can double your cash?
At that point in the future, it's going to be like what? You're working your job and you're going to get paychecks in Bitcoin, right?
Not necessarily.
Why not?
Why would you get a paycheck in Bitcoin?
Because if it's in the millions of dollars,
you can, but you don't have to. Like you'll get a paycheck in a cryptocurrency, but it's not going to be Bitcoin, likely, because Bitcoin has its job to do, be a world reserve currency. It's supposed to be traded amongst the countries.
I know what you're saying.
Right?
Okay, yeah. And let's say the dollar does devalue to zero. How would you even base Bitcoin's value anymore?
Yeah, that's true. That's an excellent point.
Like, what does that even mean? It's like Bitcoin's worth like
$10 million, but
what are dollars?
Yeah, nobody uses a dollar anymore, right?
So how do you establish value without the dollar?
Excellent point. That's a good question.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. How do you assign Bitcoin a value without the dollar? So that kind of goes to your point. Then
see, and that's an excellent point. I don't know how you would do that.
I'm trying to think. Well, we need the dollar, dude. We need to, the congressman is right, dude. We need to protect the dollar. Fuck Bitcoin, dude. It's gonna ruin everything. God damn it. I don't know, man. See,
no, that's a good point. Now, if the dollar's worthless, why would Bitcoin be a $10 million Bitcoin?
Yeah, that's like a moot point at that point. There's no more billions of nothing.
It's just a Bitcoin.
Yeah,
like,
which means what?
It means it's valuable, extremely valuable. It's like you have a pound of gold right now. The perceived value of a pound of gold is that it's valuable, but because it's quote unquote rare. But when you have one Bitcoin, you know how valuable it is because there's only 21 million of them. So how do you put a number on that when there's no dollar?
We just call them Satoshis, right? Maybe.
Well, Satoshi is a billionth of a Bitcoin or 100 billionth of a Bitcoin.
Yeah, that wouldn't work either. Yeah, I don't know, man. That just fucked me up.
So you guys, if you guys have an answer to this, let us know in the comments.
Yeah, somebody way smarter than me.
Tweet us, find us on YouTube.
This is a good chance to start shilling our Twitter account. What is it?
It's at the Block Runner for Twitter.
Yeah, that would be sweet as if somebody like left a tweet, would actually
have an answer to once the dollar's valueless. How can you value Bitcoin?
Yeah,
like how valuable is Bitcoin when there's no dollar anymore?
Well, okay, then eliminate Bitcoin. How valuable is a dollar?
By how many dollars are in circulation. That's fiat.
Okay.
So the more dollars in circulation, the less valuable it is.
But it's like a dollar isn't a value anything. $1 is just a piece of paper.
Yeah, it's just a piece of paper.
What's valued is what
it's
we
the
buy.
promise. It's the promise that people accept a dollar.
This dollar represents purchasing power. What's valuable are the goods and shit that we purchase with it.
Yeah, maybe people will say, hey, I have this new car. It's worth 0.025 Bitcoins.
Yeah, just like you would be like, it's
worth $100,000.
That is so weird.
It's weird to us because we're so used to like clean numbers, like 100,000, 50 cents.
Well, like I said, you could just call them Satoshis. It'd be like 100,000 Satoshis or something.
100,000. Yeah.
So that way we don't lose that train of thought we've developed over the years.
Yeah, and think about it. It'd be 100,000 Satoshis, but everyone accepts the USD crypto coin, the United States dollar crypto coin.
Okay, then what is that coin based on again?
It's based on the Bitcoin. And so 100,000 Satoshis might be 10 or might be a million USD crypto coins. So it's just a conversion rate.
Okay.
It's not that complicated, but it's just new to us because we're just not used to it.
Yeah. This is a question like way beyond my
thought
process.
The Generation X, they're going to be like, oh, 100,000 Satoshis, that's a steal. Like they're going to be used to this stuff. Kind of like people are raised with the iPads in their lap.
Not me. Not me. Disconnected from that reality. But yeah, man, I don't know.
So I want to talk about this Binance hack. What did you hear about Binance getting hacked? How much did they steal?
I think it's like 7,070 Bitcoins or something like that.
Yeah.
So let's call it 7,000.
Yeah, 7,000 Bitcoins. So that's roughly $40.5 million.
And not in today's money, in like last week's money. Now we're looking at like 50, million. 60 million or something.
Yeah. So what do you think happened in this hack? Like,
from what I understood, it was kind of like an inside job or something. Like they didn't actually hack Binance; they just hacked individual user accounts.
Right.
Like they got access to individual accounts.
So what does an access to an account mean?
I think they use like phishing scams or something like that, and they built it up over time. Like they had people's private keys or whatever, and they just accumulated them for however long they've been doing it.
So in the words of Andreas Antonopoulos, what does he say?
I have fucking no idea.
Not your keys, not your money.
Oh, you're talking about Binance, what they wanted to do to like resolve this issue?
Well, no. I'm talking about like what happens when you leave your coins in an exchange.
The exchange holds your keys, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And so if the exchange gets hacked, the hacker gets access to your keys.
Pretty much, yeah.
So that's why Andreas Antonopoulos, he says, not your keys, not your money. So what he's saying is it's better to store your keys like in a Ledger Nano.
Yeah, that's something we never talked about on this podcast. Like alternative storage methods.
Right.
Like the safe thing to do is to store them offline or off an exchange. Like.
So let's talk about the private key. Like, why is this thing so valuable? So a private key is literally a string of letters and numbers, right? They represent your ownership in a particular cryptocurrency. And these private keys are used to sign transactions. So what does signing mean? Signing means that whenever I send somebody a Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency, I have to sign that transaction with a private key, that string of letters and numbers. Mm-hmm. And it's a process, it's a mathematical process that indicates that I own this private key, and I can show you that I own this private key without revealing that private key to you in a mathematical way.
Yes.
And what the miners do to verify a transaction is they take my public key and they take the transaction and the signature of that transaction, and they're able to verify that the signature plus my public key indicates that I actually own that private key that signed that transaction.
Yes.
So once they verify that, then it gets added to the block, and then the block gets added to the chain. Mm-hmm. And that's how I'm able to send somebody a Bitcoin. So if you allow the exchanges to keep your private key, that means if the exchange gets hacked, the hacker has access to your private key and therefore has access to spend your Bitcoin.
Yeah. And to anybody who doesn't understand, like when these things happen, it doesn't mean Bitcoin's getting hacked. Like I hear my parents say that shit. Like, I read a headline like, "Hey, I heard Bitcoin got hacked yesterday."
Yeah.
False. Yeah. False, Dad. Totally wrong. But people need to understand that, and like,
yeah.
So that way, because if that ever happened, it's over. It's GG.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. Bitcoin's the only network that has never been hacked, and it's been over 10 years, which is such a, I can't overstate the accomplishment of that.
Yeah.
Like that's a significant deal. That's a big deal.
Yeah. So these hacks are these centralized exchanges.
Centralized exchanges that are holding everybody's private key.
Which as of today is what propping up the market. This is how we exchange these coins.
That's right.
Through these centralized exchanges.
Right. And so now we're talking about these centralized exchanges. What is happening now?
Because essentially what they are, like, they're banks in a way.
Right.
They're online banks because they're holding everyone's, like you said, private keys, like holding everyone's funds basically.
Yeah.
And it's like a open bounty to hackers. You know, hey, if you figure out how to access our, what are they hacking into? The servers that store everyone's private keys if they find out?
Yeah, I mean, there's clever ways to store these private keys. It can be encrypted, they could be segmented, and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, and I'm sure these exchanges spend tons of money, for protection, because that's a huge, shot to their reputation.
Yeah,
if they get hacked.
And if you notice, I mean, what was that huge company, Equifax? I mean,
yeah, for credit scores, right?
Credit,
whatever.
Yeah, they held everybody's information, and some of it was encrypted, some of it was not. But yet, this huge company, $100 billion company, still gets hacked.
Yeah,
right. And
it happens.
These really valuable companies still get hacked. Mm-hmm. Exchanges are going to get hacked. Binance was the biggest exchange, and it got hacked.
It's a multi-billion-dollar exchange for sure.
And so there's a war raging on between these companies and these hackers, and there is no, it's always a moving target with these hackers. The more improved your security is, the more clever the hackers get.
Yep.
And so the only way to protect your private keys is to not store or not to keep your private keys on an exchange and online. So
introducing the Ledger Nano S.
Yes.
Where we play like some nice 1970s music. But we're not endorsed by them, so f them.
Yeah, no.
That would be pretty hot if they sponsored us.
So what is this Ledger Nano S? You explain it. What does this thing do?
Dude, okay, to be honest, I don't know at all what it is. It's a flash drive looking device.
Yeah.
That I guess there's a wallet, an online wallet. I think in order for you to gain access to it, like you store your cryptos on that online wallet, the Ledger wallet, basically. Mm-hmm. In order for you to gain access to that wallet to where you could transfer funds in and out of it, you need to plug in this thumb drive looking device into your computer that has, like basic shit, like a password. You select which blockchain you're trying to access, whether it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever the fuck. And once you log in through this thumbnail device, you get access to your wallet. So it's just another layer of protection, I feel like.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let me explain to you what it does.
Please do. I bought the thing for $150, by the way.
Yeah.
Like in 2017.
And it's worth it. It's worth it. It's just they're not exactly the easiest things to use. So you buy these things, and you have to be careful where you buy them, because if you buy them from a place that's not authorized, they could be compromised. And if they're compromised, that means you're storing your Bitcoins in a hacker's wallet.
Exactly.
Right. So make sure you're buying these from authorized locations.
Yeah.
And even if you're buying them from authorized locations, you have to make sure they're actually legitimate, just because you never know.
And when you're like first like registering this nano, like they make you write down 20 secret like phrases.
Right.
Just so.
But before we get there.
Okay.
So you buy this device.
Yes.
And this device generates private keys from within the device.
Okay.
So that means that private key has never been exposed to the internet and to the world.
Yes.
So that private key only exists in that flash drive.
Okay.
So now now these private keys are generated, and you have to do what they call a sweep of your cryptocurrency.
All right.
What does a sweep mean? A sweep means you may have multiple wallets, multiple exchanges. You may be using all kinds of crypto wallets. And if you want to really protect that cryptocurrency that you purchased, you need to transfer those cryptocurrencies from all those wallets into your ledger.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a sweep. You're transferring from your existing wallets to the Ledger Nano. That's called a sweep.
Okay.
So once you've swept all your cryptocurrency into the Ledger Nano, this Ledger Nano produces 24 phrases, something like that. And these 24 phrases are used to be able to recover this lost device.
Yes.
Like if you ever lose this, you can recover it. So what do these 24 words really do? So these 24 words are called seed values into this algorithm. So this algorithm takes these 24 words, you submit them in the correct order without any misspellings, you submit them into this algorithm, and this algorithm plus those 24 words is able to generate the private key that was generated on the device that you lost. Mm-hmm. And so if it could generate that private key, that means that you have access to your cryptocurrency that you lost. Now you have to get a brand new Ledger Nano and get a brand new private key, and then transfer the old crypto from the lost wallet to the one that you just purchased. And so the whole point of doing this is to make sure your private key was never exposed to anyone during, to the internet.
Yeah. Because
once you connect your laptop to an internet, to a Wi-Fi, to anything, it's liable to get hacked. Mm-hmm. And so what the Ledger Nano is supposed to do is to provide you a private key that was never generated on a computer that had access to the internet. So that's kind of the point of these things. And so Binance getting hacked means Binance storing everybody's private keys. Hacker had access to your private keys. They spent everybody's money, or they transferred everybody's money to the hacker's account. Mm-hmm. And therefore you got it. You lost your coins.
Yeah.
And so to avoid that, you get the Ledger Nano. It generates your private key. You do a sweep of your cryptocurrency, and your money's protected.
Yeah, so you never have to worry about somebody jacking your funds.
Yep.
The only drawback is if you're a trader, you got to transfer to and from your ledger to the exchange.
That's the only problem.
Yeah. But if you're a long-term investor, holder, hodler, whatever the hell.
Yep.
It's wise to invest in one of these storage devices. You're a lot less risk. It's worth it. $100 for guaranteed safety.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah. You've used it. It's not exactly the most user-friendly.
No, it's not. It's not something I see like, a future where like everybody's walking around with one of these things to.
And Ledger Nano's not the only device out there. There's a couple of devices. I would say a handful, like.
There's a Trezor.
Between 5 to 10 different devices. Trezor. Yeah. There's a one from McAfee.
Is there? Oh, yeah.
John McAfee. Mm-hmm. And so there's a couple out there. It's just, pick and choose whichever one. But they all work reasonably well. Some are more secure than others, but as long as, and you can even generate a private key. So you can purchase a brand new computer.
That's right.
Take out the Wi-Fi card of it, transfer the Bitcoin wallet generator onto it, and you can generate private keys on that computer, store all your Bitcoins into this new wallet, print it on a piece of paper, write it down, whatever, and completely destroy that laptop, and now your Bitcoins are equally as safe.
As long as you have that piece of paper.
As long as you have the piece of paper.
Don't lose that.
Yeah, don't lose that.
Which a lot of people have in the past.
Yes.
Yeah. These things are easy to lose. But that's what's great about, like you said, the Ledger Nano. As long as you remember those 20 passphrases or whatever.
Yeah. If you can remember them, then you don't have to write them on a piece of paper.
But no one's gonna remember that.
Yeah.
But just write those 20 passphrases like all over your wall. Just don't forget them.
Well, there's you have to write them down in the right order.
Yeah,
because the order matters. So, and
but the point is, the big grand picture of all this is just don't leave your funds on exchanges. Yeah, because they're very vulnerable. Until we get to the point where these exchanges are decentralized, which they're
there's a couple of ways to go around this. You can go with this regulation route where governments are starting to recognize cryptocurrencies as actual tender, and if one of these exchanges gets hacked, it's probably federally insured eventually, not yet.
Well, even Binance.
Even Binance is using something called
Seifu. Funds are Seifu. So you don't know the meme?
I don't remember.
Funds are Seifu. Like I think it's like a 10% of whatever they make goes into like an insurance collection. Like if they ever get hacked in the future, they have funds to secure. You know, have you not seen that meme? Are you kidding me?
Oh yeah, secure asset fund for users. Seifu.
And that's like a meme. Like, you know, it's kind of racist, but it's making fun of his accent. But he totally rolls with it. You know, every tweet of his is like hashtag Seifu.
Yeah.
Funds are Seifu. So he really likes it.
So Seifu, to protect the future interests of all users, Binance will create a secure asset fund for users, Seifu. Starting from 2018, we will allocate 10% of trading fees received into Seifu to offer protection to our users and their funds in extreme cases. This fund will be stored in a separate cold wallet. So that means if Binance gets hacked,
10% they have a pool of money.
They have a pool of money to kind of recover funds.
Which is actually what they did. They're going to reimburse this $40 million or these 7,000 Bitcoins, whatever.
Yeah.
But they're still going to try and recover that 7,000. Like they don't want to lose money.
Yeah. 7,000 Bitcoins. That could be worth 100 million soon.
Oh yeah. So they're on the hunt. You know, they're trying to figure out who did this shit. And so
100 million. That's nothing. Could be worth like $1 billion. 7,000 Bitcoins.
I know, but we're talking about today.
Yeah.
Because like them, you know, it's like I said, they during the bull market, they made like $1 billion of pure profit or something like that.
Yeah. Just
off of trading fees. So they have plenty of money, and they did this just to maintain reputation, right? They're not going to go over their users.
Yeah.
They want you to feel safe.
Yeah,
Seifu.
for sure.
Seifu.
So now we gave a little explanation.
Bitcoin's up. Since we've been talking, it's up like $100.
So we gave an explanation of Bitcoin private keys, and so here's another question.
Yeah.
The public and private keys. Do all cryptocurrencies have this concept?
Public and private keys?
Yeah.
Oh.
The answer is yes.
Okay.
For the most part.
You're making me like dig deep there for a second. Okay.
Yeah. So I think there's another concept called hash cash. Was it hash cash?
Hash cash?
Yeah.
You mean hash graph?
Hash graph.
Like Hedera hash graph?
Yeah, there you go.
I don't think we should talk about that. No, we're very well. Again, we're gonna have to take a 20-minute pause. Yeah. Like, watch more videos.
Hedera hash graph. That's extremely complicated.
I don't know. It's extremely complicated. It's just we just don't know too much about it. But
it's a competitor to blockchain.
Exactly. It's not even a blockchain.
The only difference is blockchain is a functioning unit. It works, right? Hashgraph is
an experiment.
And it's an experiment.
But they claim it's like just shits all over blockchain. Yeah. It does everything blockchain does, but to the millionth degree.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds great, but show me.
Exactly.
Yeah. I was gonna say something else, but
what?
It's not suitable. When I said show me.
Show me the money?
No.
Show me your asshole?
No, I'll tell you.
I don't know. That's all I got.
No,
that's all I got. Money and asshole. That's it.
I'll tell you after.
Okay. What else we got?
So,
did we go through everything already?
Yeah, we talked about the senator. We talked about Binance and the Lightning Network.
Dude, we killed the Lightning Network.
Yeah, we did. Dude, I feel good though. I like it, man. Don't you want to get involved?
The Lightning Network?
Yeah.
I would like to figure out, if there's like actual attendees to make. Like,
yeah. Oh, the other thing I heard was to get the money services licenses, it requires like $100,000 because you have to get a license in every state.
Okay.
Which is ridiculous.
What? So it's a GG, no read. There's no more Lightning Network, dude. Nobody's going to run that shit.
Well, somebody will. Somebody will run it. Yeah.
Are you sure it's $100,000 to get that license?
Well, that's what I read. It was $100,000 because you need a license in every state.
Wow. We need to make sure that's like 100% accurate.
Well, yeah. I mean, of course.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly, you need a license from that.
But think about it. If you need a license in every state, reasonably, what is that?
A license is usually like $300 to $500, right? Like
there you go, $500.
$500 times 50 is $25. I'm still exposing my
do 10,000 divided by 50.
Huh?
10,000 divided by 50.
Dude, don't make me do this on the podcast, Will. God damn it. All right, let's do it.
The people are waiting.
I know. It's $200.
So $200. I mean,
what?
Wait,
why'd you get 10,000?
Sorry, 100,000. $2,000. $2,000.
Hold on.
That's $2,000, dude.
For what? For license?
Yeah, per state.
For state. That sounds like an expensive ass license, but maybe.
No, I mean that's like that seems reasonable.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so there's reason for people to be a little upset about this.
Yeah. I mean, but I don't think anyone's taking it negatively though. I mean, according to the price.
Pay 100. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's true.
Shit.
But the price hasn't taken anything negatively lately.
Everybody wanted some regulatory, entry into cryptocurrency. We're getting it.
So what's the benefit of this?
Well, it becomes more legitimate and taxed.
That's it?
I mean, yeah, we want this. This is a good thing.
Do we, Willis?
Yeah, we did.
I guess we do. Like wherever they say goes, man. Like this is like the step in the right direction for the merchants to accept the Lightning Network, basically. Mm-hmm. Like these Starbucks wouldn't be able to do it without this bill.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure
otherwise it'd be like an unregulated.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to like take some risks and kind of adopt like these digital internet money things, these crazy things.
Yeah.
In order to get the government to notice.
True.
So I mean, this is natural.
This is just one thing. This is one of the, like I said, it's red tape.
Yeah.
Any business you're getting into, there's red tape involved. So
yeah, for sure.
Like I said, it legitimizes it in a way.
Yeah.
But it kind of makes it to where like the little man, they can't participate.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks. It's kind of like the whole heart and soul of Bitcoin is like the little man runs for us, by us, the FUBU of cryptocurrency. Basically, is what Bitcoin was supposed to be.
Yeah.
But it's turned into something completely different, like completely corporate.
Well, anyone can run a Bitcoin mining rig. You just may not win.
Make anything, dude. Yeah, I think electricity costs outweigh the reward.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like not even worth, So the little man has no place. All the little man can do is just hoard these shekels and like pray for the future.
Yeah.
That's all we can do at this point.
Imagine when Bitcoin's worth 200 trillion.
What the 200 trillion?
Yeah, that's a $10 million Bitcoin.
Oh, okay. You said 200 trillion.
Yeah.
I thought you meant like each Bitcoin is worth 200 trillion.
No. That's crazy. That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
no, that's ridiculous.
I'm not coming off too loud, dude. I'm like yelling in this mic.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah.
I'm not like out of the range.
No, you're still in the yellow.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, that's interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to Oscar? He's not coming in today, I guess.
No.
Okay.
He's too busy with his Tesla.
That's what we were going to talk about. You said you had an almost near-death experience.
Oh, that's Tesla. Right. Let me tell you. So
I guess you could tell me without him.
I got into the Tesla for the first time. It was a Model 3. And so I'm in the back seat. My brother, who owns this Tesla, was driving. We get on the highway. We only spend like a minute on the highway, right? Because we needed to exit, right? So we get on, and this dude turns on autopilot.
Your brother?
Yeah, on the highway, right? As one should.
Yeah.
The only thing is, he turned it on as we're exiting, and there's this giant curve, like this sharp curve to exit this particular exit.
Yeah.
So he turns it off. So it's on autopilot mode. He puts his hands up, and then he acts like he passes out. And so the car is going like 60 miles per hour during this turn, and it looks like it wasn't going to turn, right? And so I'm freaking out. I was like, dude, grab the wheel. And then the car turns at the last second.
At 60 miles an hour? It didn't slow down?
It didn't even slow down.
How did it feel like?
It was genuinely terrifying.
Really?
Yes. I was actually scared.
It turned like it was like,
yeah.
Like if you smashed your head against the window or something?
Well, I wouldn't. It wasn't that hard because it's a highway exit, right?
Well, you're supposed to slow down.
You're supposed to slow down, but it didn't slow down.
What the fuck?
It had confidence, like, dude, I'm gonna make this turn.
It's like buckle up, bitches. Yeah. That's what I should have said before I make that turn.
And then it was funny because he had his hands up and then he acted like he passed out just to like create that tension.
Just to like be like, haha.
Yeah, like I'm actually not touching the wheel.
Yeah.
But it was so trippy seeing that because this guy so imagine my perspective. This guy in the front seat, the driver, is completely like limp, right? And then you're about to hit this guardrail on this exit, and you know it's like it's extremely terrifying thing. But then this car takes over and manages to make the turn perfectly.
Perfect. Yeah,
it was perfect.
In its mind, it was a perfect turn.
Well,
like
in
the human
mind,
experience, like what the. Dude,
yeah,
I feel like you're driving with like a drunk driver or something.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, it's just a matter of adjusting to technology, but that was a different feeling.
Wow. And then after that, you didn't try it again?
No, because we exited and then, you know, our house is right there. Yeah.
And you can only use autopilot on the freeway, right?
On the freeway right now. You
don't want to use it like in regular.
Well, that's for right now. I think in a matter of a few months, maybe by the end of the year, Tesla's going to launch coast-to-coast autopilot. So, I mean...
That's pretty much the final version.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
I mean, there's always going to be improvements. For example, you can have summon the car. Like, let's say you're getting groceries. You can summon the car while you're, you know, paying for your groceries, and the car will meet you right in the front.
Yeah.
I mean, so there's always going to be those improvements, but you can go from California to New York without touching the wheel.
Very hot.
Yeah.
Oh, damn, dude. Lucked out, man.
Yeah. It was an awesome experience. I mean, it was great. And then he didn't get the performance version, but he stepped on it, and that thing pulls, man. Like it pulls like harder than like any of, you know, muscle cars that I've felt.
But it sounds like nothing when it does it.
Oh no, it's just
like wee. Like I don't know.
Completely.
That takes a little bit of enjoyment out of it in my books, but we'll get over that. We'll get over that. Yes. What do you mean? Nah. Yes. You know, it would have been cooler if it was like.
Nah, dude.
Yes.
Nah. I don't think so. I think in the future, 10 years from now.
Yeah, in the future, like
20 years from now, people are like, cars made sounds. Like, why did you even like that?
Dude, that's horseshit. Like, they'll be like antiques. They'll be awesome. They'll be so valuable.
Nah.
Yeah.
I think some people will miss it, but overall, we're improving.
Oh, yeah. Or we're becoming like lame. Not as cool.
Yeah.
But cool in a different way. We're becoming more, I don't know, technological. If that's a word. But yeah, Bitcoin on a tear. Oh yeah. It's still going as we've been speaking. It just will not stop for some reason. Look at that giant ass sell wall. It just keeps getting chipped away slowly.
Man, that's crazy, dude.
Yeah, man. Like I said, there's really nothing stopping it from just keeping on soaring. Like to me, yeah, the volume looks pretty poopy, but what is that, a daily chart? It's a daily chart. There was pretty good volume yesterday.
Look at that green stuff, dude.
That green stuff.
Look at that.
Maybe some of that green stuff. Yeah, dude, I like green too, man. This reminds me, these are good days, you know?
Somebody bought at this point. Can you believe that? Who would do that?
So I think what people to expect, okay, people who are new to this market and like they're getting in.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, people who are new to this market, they're getting in. They haven't experienced FUD. Shit, like FUD comes out in times like this. Mm-hmm. People will create stories. Yeah. They'll try and make you panic.
Bitcoin getting banned? You got to be kidding me.
Yeah, that was a shitty attempt.
Yeah, that's terrible.
But like, there could be anything. Like the last bull cycle that I was in, it would be like China would ban cryptocurrencies.
Yeah,
and that tanked the market.
Yeah.
And if you were a noob like I was, you would panic and you would sell. Yeah. And that's exactly what I did. I sold at the bottom every time.
And that's what we want to do, is we want people to understand the value of cryptocurrency. Now, not all cryptocurrencies are valuable. There's a lot of shit coins out there.
Oh, yeah.
A lot.
Quite a few.
But if you understand the value of what Bitcoin and other valuable, you know, good technologies out there, like Ethereum and EOS.
Yes.
You're not going to be
afraid
of these drops.
No.
Because if you believe in these technologies, then
that's with any investment. Yeah,
with any investment.
If you invest in, if you did your due diligence and your research and you're confident, you shouldn't buy anything unless you're that confident to hold through the dips.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Even if you're owning a stock, like
that's right.
What's a good example?
Tesla stock.
Tesla's perfect.
Yeah. Why would you sell Tesla stock? I mean, these guys.
Panic.
Yeah, I understand that they had a $600 million loss in a quarter, but
you got to think of the long term. Who's running the show?
Who is running the show?
What are they developing? Like, there's so much development going on.
Yeah, who is really competing with Elon right now?
Exactly. Yeah, he's in a realm of his own, just like how Amazon was when they first started.
Exactly.
A realm of their own. You know, how Apple became a realm of their own because they created a bunch of products nobody else even knew how to fuck with.
Yeah, these are the stocks that you don't sell. You just keep them.
Yeah. It's all about the long-term vision of these things, these investments. So if you see that, if you're there, like when we're here, you know, don't be afraid because like shit's going to come out. Trust me. It always does.
And also a good benefit is learn how markets work. When things go up, they also go down.
Yeah, and then you don't necessarily need FUD for the price to go down. It could just be, if you see the price drop from 8,000 to 5,000 over the span of a month, that's not a bad thing. That's healthy. It's a correction. That's people taking profits.
Right.
And we're finding support levels so that we can go even higher on the next leg up.
That's right.
Because the next time we're going to go to 10,000, 12,000.
That's right.
You know, and over the long term, you're making money. I mean, if you want to be fancy, be a trader and trying to catch these tops and bottoms, you could do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a lot harder to do though.
And don't fall into the FOMO when Bitcoin's at $20,000 at an all-time high. Do not sell your house. Do not get a second mortgage to buy at all-time highs. That's not smart.
Is this financial advice? I don't know what we're doing.
I don't know.
This is like
healthy financial decisions.
It's not even financial. It's just like it's how to manage psychology is how I feel.
Yeah.
Like, don't fear. Don't panic.
So again, this is not financial advice.
Yeah. Disclaimer.
But just be smart about these things. Let's not to go too crazy just because the price is like skyrocketing.
Yeah, we don't know what's gonna happen. None of us do. Yeah, that's the beauty of this all. Like, nobody knows what the like everyone predicted Bitcoin was gonna correct before it broke through 6,000, and it never did.
That's true.
I think like the minority predictions were right, you know, and that's what I always say, that the market always figures out a way to like fuck over the most amount of people, no matter what.
Yeah,
that's what markets do. They always like, or else if everybody won, there wouldn't be a market.
I was telling you, I was hoping it would go back down to 4,000 so I can accumulate more, but it never did.
Everybody wanted, right? But and everyone was shorting,
and that's why they did.
It's like 90% of the market was shorting Bitcoin. So what does Bitcoin do? So it's like, you, I'm going up. You know, that's the beauty of it.
That's funny. Everybody was waiting for a $4,000 Bitcoin so they can accumulate more, and it never happened. And it probably did that on purpose. They're like, if everybody's waiting for a $4,000 Bitcoin, I'm gonna buy at 5,000, and then it keeps trickling up.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. The market is a tricky cunt.
Yeah.
But it's exciting. You know, it's something, like I said, this, I think this is the .com 2.0 era of our generation.
And,
you know,
I mean, if you look at, you guys should look at Andreas Antonopoulos. Look at his YouTube, look at all his talks. He says right now we're in the 1994, 1995 era of the internet for cryptocurrency. Mm-hmm. And so,
like I said, we haven't even hit that Netscape moment.
Yeah.
Where like a large segment of people are using cryptocurrencies or blockchain.
Yeah.
Just like they did at Netscape, like people actually started using the internet.
Yeah.
They started understanding how it worked, the purpose of it. They were logging in easily. Like it was easy enough for the mainstream to adopt, basically.
Yeah.
We haven't hit that yet.
Yeah, for sure.
We're still working on it. When that happens, that's when we're truly going to moon.
Yeah.
We'll be chilling. We'll all be riding in Lambos. Or Tesla Roadsters. Whatever the fuck. That's what it's called, right?
The Roadster, yeah. They're only $250,000, right?
Only.
It's not a big deal.
That's just one Bitcoin if you hold for long enough, boys.
Yeah, easy. Easy.
Just buy your Bitcoin now. You can secure your Roadster in 2022 or whatever.
Oh, man.
What are we at? Pretty good.
Hour 55?
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah. So we got just an update. We got new equipment.
Oh, yeah. Good. Yeah, another thing. So what's the plan for
I'm just going to throw this out there. Since we're already shilling like Twitter and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, if anybody's out there listening who's like, they feel they're at least like half an expert at some kind of subject that we seem retarded at. Like say you're an Ethereum developer and like you hear us talk shit about Ethereum. Yeah. You want to come
correct us
or like come talk shit back or something like that. We have new equipment now to where we can accept call-ins.
That's right.
You know, we're still got to figure this shit out, but once we do, we want to incorporate that. So
yeah, if we're wrong on anything, we would expect people to call us out because we want to be correct on stuff. We don't want to be incorrect.
Or just adding another perspective is always nice.
Yeah,
too.
For sure.
Something we don't know how to cover.
For sure.
And
So we got a website we're going to launch maybe in the next couple of days.
Yeah, how can people get a hold of? Say if they want to get a hold of us, email.
They'll go to the website and they can email us
Or Twitter too, right?
Or Twitter.
Can they tweet at us?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we'll have a YouTube. We'll be posting our podcast on YouTube, and then eventually we'll create a video and all that stuff.
Eventually, yeah.
In time.
We just spent a shit ton of money on this stuff, so we need to accumulate some funds.
Yeah. So we'll have the website. We'll have a bunch of blog posts as well.
Oh yeah,
because we get together on a weekly basis, and we have tons of stuff to talk about. But on a day-to-day basis, we can contribute to the website and stuff that we're seeing on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, it's always nice to have shit written down too.
Yeah, for sure.
That way you can learn at your own pace.
Yeah,
stuff like that. Some people are more visual than what's the word? Auditory?
Yeah,
I don't fucking know.
Yeah, so whether you're listening to us in your Tesla or working out, now you'll be able to go to our website and read all the other shit that we're writing about.
There's a little too much Tesla shilling in this podcast, dude. A little too
Tesla
much.
is the only vehicle that exists right now in my eyes.
Jesus, I need some money, dude. Just say Tesla one more time, Elon. Throw me a couple dollars, sir.
Yeah. But yeah.
But besides that, what?
No, that's it. So thank you for listening, and we'll be back next week with another podcast. And make sure to call us out on Twitter if we said anything wrong. Talk to you next week.
See ya. Peace.
Boom. Thank you for listening to the Block Runner podcast. Make sure you follow us on Twitter @TheBlockRunner.